Okay, so of course I'm at an odd angle because Stella's right here. My hair is wet. Oh, no, let me see what time it is. 5:23. 23, always 23. I see 23 so much, it's crazy. 17 and 23, 17 and 23. And then 144, 141. And then there's always just certain number patterns. It's weird. And I know it's all like communication and stuff, and I don't go in with edge one and try and figure out like, but it's like, it's like you get an overall like feeling when you see the numbers. To me, it's like either you're thinking about something that is they're giving you confirmation about, or they're thinking about something to direct you somewhere. Like it's all about how we see things. But I wanted to I turned the fan down low, but I'm really out of it. Sorry. I feel so weird. I feel so out of it. It was so hot. I had to take a shower. I was so fucking sweaty. Last night was hellacious. It was one of the worst, longest nights. But anyways, I put the fan in front of the door to try and get it cooler in here. Because Stella's so big, the heat really bothers her. And it's this weird, unnatural heat. So everything is just weird. But last night, I was feeling so, like, I don't even remember what the thing, like, I felt like my eyeballs were going to come out. I started getting this weird headache. I was just so uncomfortable. I just wanted to go to bed. And every time I lay down and go to sleep, I start choking. And then I'm getting these visions of somebody choking me and stuff. Like I'm not sure. Like, stuff is just becoming so strange. Like I've said, there's fucking things like all over the place. There's fucking choking me out while I'm trying to sleep. I can't tell you how many times I fucking woke up choking and sweating to death. Oh my gosh, so sweaty. I thought my hair would dry really quick too because it's so hot, but I don't know. I don't give a fuck right now. So then I was like up all fucking night, and I was having such a horrible headache. There was no fucking way I could sleep, and my head is still killing me. My eyeballs, there's something weird with my eyeballs, and sometimes that's why I want to turn off all the lights, because it was like yesterday morning. So after I finished recording and stuff, and then the sun weapon started coming in, and it comes in like a fucking laser beam in my living room. And it's up in the upper windows, because I have a cabin that has that kind of, the front part is all windows, you know, so the top part is windows. And so when it comes in those top windows, it's like a fucking laser beam. It's mental how fucking hard it is. Like, if you even walk in front of it, it burns your skin. Like, I don't get how people think like this is the real sun. Like, it just, I'm so weirded out by things right now. I don't even know. Like, and I don't know if it's just this separate, like, all this stuff is so, like, you know, I don't have anybody who's going through the same things as me. So just like, ugh, it's intense, man. And it does feel like it just is constantly pushing you to lose your goddamn mind. Because it starts being like, you know, you're creating this shit too. Like, it's our consciousness. Like, we have, okay, I can't even go into that whole, like, some of the levels. It's like there's like a base things. There's things they're important to start understanding more. Like, there's more and more to understand. But to me, it's like everybody's waking up. But when they're waking up, it's like they wake up to this spiritual side of them. Some people, you know, suddenly go into this huge ego, and some people go into confusion. Like, it's all different. And But, one of the things that's so important, and I can't stress this enough, and I don't know that I really, when I say it, that it really is understood on what I'm trying to say. Because just as the lady come into the little kids' school, and then she didn't see any of them in the parking lot, just walked right past them, went in, and then when they could see her, how they could even see this black cloud over her. This is, to me, this is a definite thing in life. Is what you see is what you're supposed to see. You only see what you're supposed to see. You can go somewhere and we could all go in the same place and we're all going to see something different. We have unique perspective. We have unique vision. What we see, what we're perceiving, what we are taking in is a part of our lessons. It's a part of us. It's a part of what we're doing here. And it is so important to not try and insert yourself or let anyone else insert into you. So you don't try and go into anybody else's vision, and you don't allow anybody else in yours. This is a strong boundary as a sovereign being that I believe that is necessary for every being to come into true sovereignty, true independence, true balance. That is like, it's probably in the universal laws somewhere. Like, I don't know all these universal laws that I hear people talking about. The ones that I know of are just from inside of me, is this balance. You have to, there's a cause and effect. It's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about, the tail is going to be behind going, it's just how it is. And there's nothing like, it's not like you're doing something wrong. It's not like God's throwing shit at you. Nothing. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. If people could wrap their heads around shit like this. But for some reason, everybody thinks like they've got control over shit. It's like you don't have control over shit. The whole thing is you to learn to reel it in, to understand you don't have control. So when you don't have control, what do you have control of? How you look at it, your outlook, what you see. And so, man, it's hard because I can see so much of this stuff and I can understand so much of it. This is what, people got to go in and you really, through this stuff, you really got to work on everybody's got to work on their communication with their guides because of the uniqueness of your vision, of what you're being shown, of what your lessons are, of what you're seeing in the world. It all has to do with you. And when you are distracted by another, then you've taken it off of you. And so, but in your path, in your view, the things that come towards you, it is by design. It is so to the second. Nothing can go wrong. And this is where it is a huge part to realize what is yours is meant to be yours. There's nothing you need to do. You don't need to go out and do anything. You don't need to, chase it. You don't need to force it. You don't need to fight it. You just allow it. You allow things to play out. And each person has their own lessons. Each person is working on their own stuff. Some people are learning to speak their truth, to unmask themselves, to reveal who they are, and a lot of people, they've put on fake personas in order to hide themselves, even with good intentions. It's yourself that wants to be seen. It's yourself that is yearning to be out in the world and make a mark. And so in this challenge, in this game that we're in, is for you to become in contact with that side, not by the distractions. Everybody gets caught up in the distractions, the lights, just like what they were seeing in the movies all the time in the 40s. The lights and all the I can't remember the things. There's always this overall message, it's like, the lights were hold all the temptation and all the crime, and it just brings out all of this badness in people. And it's true. That was true. It was true. You know, I'll just throw this out there too, because I've seen people getting really disturbed about, you know, there's certain things that people keep saying, don't look up, but people run and look up. Like, I'm not going to look up that frazzle. I've seen it in my head. Just, no, I don't want to know anything more about it. And anything that I hear, I can see it in my head. Fucking, it's like, there's so much shit I don't fucking want to hear. And but the Island Boys are, doing, you know, they're doing sexy time together, and videotaping it, and it's really grossing people out. Like, it's like, don't go watch this. But what I want to say is that I think there is some sort of a psyop. It was weird, even when I was at my oldest daughter, that my son-in-law even knew who the Island Boys were. Like, because I was doing this little Island Boy, you know, I don't remember what I was doing. I always do weird shit, but, and he's like, oh, I can't stand those Island Boys. And I was like, oh, you know who they are? But so, yeah, he knew who they were. And so, oh, yeah. And last night, I haven't been talking to anybody. Yeah, I gotta still talk about my day yesterday. It was fucking hard. It was a hard fucking day. Yeah, so, oh yeah, so when I talked to my daughter, the third one, I'm trying to figure out, like, how to get people, I'll just call her number 3. Number 3, and she lives in Spokane. She's the third child in the order. And the 2 oldest with all the kids, they live in Yakima. The 2 youngest live in Spokane. The youngest of all is still in that, you know, divided from me. She's still in her healing. She can't do it. I get it. You know, I don't want to make it seem like I'm resentful or angry or anything. I've gone through this with all my kids. This is the 4th one. I've pulled away from my own parents. So I totally get it. You know, I get this where you've got to pull out. You got to figure out who you are. You got to quiet all of the noise in your head. So I get it. You know, everybody's got to do their own thing. I just say, when you do those things, don't plan on it being your future forever. Like, don't be like, well, I'm just going to cut those people out of my life. No, you want to go back into the triggers. Like, that's what you're here, not to just cut people out of your life. You're here to forgive and grow and learn and expand. If somebody continues to be abusive towards you, then you have to set strong boundaries and stuff. But you don't base your relationships on 10 years ago, 15 years ago, what happened 20 years ago, you know. So anyways, there's a whole you know, expansion, a whole, you know, everything's about the opportunity of growth. You don't stay stagnant, holding back, like, oh, 20 years ago, really upset me, and I'm going to hold on to that forever and ever and ever. It's like, okay, that's a good waste of time. So, anyways, you have, oh yeah, so that, but when I talked to them, they both, were more aware of the things in Hawaii than so there's just stuff that people are seeing. And so, because this is this is really a big part of what's going on. This is a big part of our truth. This is I'm going to start crying again. This is a big part of our seeing the truth and what has gone on in this planet. And yesterday, I had such a hard day. It was so crazy. It was so weird, because every fucking thing that I was pulling up was just all, like, different tribes, all different things. And these are things, like, I had talked about some of the stuff. Like, one of them is in my, I've talked about it a bunch of different times, but in my download section where you can go in, and this is pretty old. Like, when I do talk about movies, then you do have to ask me if you want me to send you a link or something, and I'll send it to you. And also, when you comment, make sure that if I haven't answered within like 12 hours, because usually I'm I'm pretty good about answering if there's notification and I see it. But the thing is they don't notify me. They don't give me notifications. Most of the comments, then I run across them. Like I'm answering somebody else's, and I don't know if they just send me certain people's. Like I'm not sure, but I'll run across other people's comments in the thing. And so when you comment, and if I haven't answered, you could go in and if you comment again and say waiting or something, and I see that, you may have to do it a couple times or something. Like, I don't know what all interference they create when they're doing all this censorship, but it definitely is. I've watched it on TikTok. They just take things away. It's weird. So whatever they do, you got to take another step. Don't just sit there and say one thing and then think I've seen it and I'm ignoring you, because that's not the case. And so, anyways, I was really excited for them to be aware of what was going on, because, it's very, very important as to what is happening in the world, because it's happening right in front of us. It would be like us ignoring what happened with Hitler, and it was happening right then. But a lot of people do. They want to look away. And, each person, that's their own thing. Each person has their own stuff they're supposed to understand and see, and they're here to experience. And so, what was I going to say? Because there's so many things coming into my head. So, anyways, when, so anyways, what is all this stuff that is coming to light is showing us this corruption, the fact that they're not even truly a state. And I'm telling you what a big deal this was when I was in school. I remember, I don't remember all the things, but I remember it kept being about, now we have 51 states, now we have Hawaii and stuff like that. And, I was a little kid, I didn't know what the fuck that meant. But now, to find out, their true history and stuff, and just us going and moving and taking over their island killed like 50% of them from our diseases and stuff. Like, we've been eradicating, wiping out fucking tribes for so long, and this is recent. Like, this isn't a long time ago. And so don't be thinking like, oh, well, this. No, this shit was like in the fucking 1800s, where they went in and took over. It's like they went there and started to send in missionaries. Like, it has not been that long that they went, and it's all been this takeover. It's all been totally corrupt. Like, you have to go in and listen and watch all it's the people, I think, that are releasing so much of the true history, releasing so much information. They did tell us this shit at school. So it's, different tribes have their own history and stuff. And, but we haven't listened. That's why there's big stuff happening, because it's time for us to stop in our tracks and listen what's going on. Listen how we're getting this land. Listen what's happening to, and to me, the tribes people are everything. Like I feel so connected to the tribes and the tribe people. To me, that is what life's all about. And this was happening so strong yesterday. I can't even tell you how much I cried yesterday. That was one thing where I wanted to just close my eyes and shut my, because that's why I thought, okay, this is why my eyes hurt so bad, is because I cried all fucking day, bawling my head off. I was like, I couldn't stop. And it was all these fucking videos of all these different tribe things. Okay, so in my in the little bio thing where we share a bunch of links. So there's a link, and I talked about this movie a long while ago. I've talked about it several times, and it disturbed the fuck out of me, but I thought it told so much about what things we needed to see. And I wasn't even sure of the whole picture at that time. Like, the picture keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so at the time, and I think this movie that I saw, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, I must have been awakened to a point, but there's, you know, there's heavy awakening parts. There's parts where you just jump in further. And so you're kind of going along. Like yesterday was one I thought of, and I was like, whoa, yeah, I had such a different, oh, it was this morning when I was thinking about it, thinking about when I was helping the neighbor and I almost fainted, and then I went to the doctor and they thought I was having a stroke or whatever the fuck, and that whole weird experience. And I was thinking, trying to remember when that was, and I was like, oh yeah, but in the ER, that guy was, that's the only test that I did, was he wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. I was like, I just wanted to prove to him I didn't fucking have it. I was like, shut the fuck up, dude. That is not what's goddamn wrong with me, you fucking weirdo. He was doubled. He had, this guy was telling me, no, he believes in real science, because I asked a few questions that I was listening to the constant every single day. I listened to the update, the Trump thing, and it was all about exposing the whole, every day he was exposing shit. And so I was listening to those. And then I went to the doctor and said something. Oh, no, we believe in real science. Okay, wackadoo. You fucking got one of these, and then you got a fucking face shield on too. You fucking wacky motherfucker. I was like, oh my God, but he went shut the fuck up. So anyways, but now how much my attitude changed. You know, I can be sitting there bleeding, and it's like, fuck that. I'll tape my goddamn skin. I don't give a fuck. Like right now, my eyeballs pop out of my head. I'd be like, fuck, I'll sit here and let them pop out. I'm not going fucking to the hospital. I'm not going to the ER. I'm not going to any of this shit. And I just want out of it. I don't want to give it any of my energy. I don't want it having anything to do with me. And so anyways, that is one of the things, like, you know, that was just a couple years ago. And so that is, that had to be at the beginning of 2020. Had to be before, because I keep trying to think of, like, when they moved in, like, there's such a mesh of stuff. But anyways, just how much I've changed of, you know, what I'll participate in now. And so in, when I saw this movie, it really affected me. I mean, I cried and cried. I swear I probably cried 2 days. It still affects me. I still talk about this movie. It still makes me sick. And it is, it's like a murder mystery movie. And, you know, that's why I love murder mysteries. This was true. And it was, so, like, they came in and they took the tribes' lands. Like, they came in, these settlers, these colonizers, these people they're always talking about, that I talk about, like, the royals sent over, filled the pockets of the most immoral, disgusting people, and told them to go over here and, you know, take over. And so these places have always rode in and taken in that movie, the one I had just seen, I saw show how these ships would pull up. And they even took all these criminals with them to go build the places up, because that's what they, but they weren't giving them one money. No, they give these other ones money. These aristocrats that seem like fucking zombie brain dead people that just so sit over in the corner. Oh, isn't that so funny? The creepy. It's like the fucking, that to me was the white people that they were trying to interject into society. These weird little creepy, just empty shells, you know, feel nothing, look down on people like that they are barbaric or something. So they would flood these communities on these ships and release all these prisoners, and these fucking antisocial weirdo people, the colonizers that were supposed to come and take over. And all of these places were inhabited. Every place was inhabited. They were all tribes that were living in fucking harmony and union with the earth, in union with one another. And there was all along the waterways. And so they just came in and fucking, you know, killed them and slaughtered them. And the stories are so fucking horrible. There's so many of these stories coming out, and this shit is still going on. That's why I said that there's these indigenous people who are coming out, like the ones from Easter Island. And by the way, all those statues are now dug out and shown that they're ginormous fucking statues and we're not just heads. And so all of these indigenous tribes, but see, the indigenous tribes hold our truth. They are the spiritual. They are the connected. And so in the Netherlands, this big one thing coming out, like I don't even know all of this shit, but all of it is not by accident that this is all happening at once. And we don't want to be the fucking aristocrat standing back there just like, isn't that funny? You know, who are we? I know what I am. I know I'm fucking connected to, when I tap into myself, my connection is deep in with the tribes. That is my foundation. It comes from the tribes. I've known it from the time I was a kid. You know, it was like all of these souls that they pushed back on, flipped back in to come back. And this is the full circle. And, you know, now I don't know. I mean, my role is obviously not to be, I think my role seems to be education, to get people to pay attention, to have compassion, to care about what's happening, and to see, you know, it's important. And so, you know, and this is the way they've always done it, is go in and then they enslave these people. They make them, they force them. They fucking, it's horrible. It's fucking horrible. And then all these fucking empty shell of people are just, you know, worried about their vacation and shit. Oh, we got the vacay coming up. Like, I've heard a fucking voicemail of a guy. I was like, oh my God, this guy's attitude. He was so pissed because he hadn't got a call back on some fucking nonsense, you know, of some, his luau time. He wanted confirmation of what time he was supposed to be there for his luau time, and he was so fucking pissed. You don't go to a high-end fucking hotel and be treated like this. I won't be staying at a hotel like this again. And all this fucking, it was like, oh my God, dude. Seriously, there's people out there like that? God damn. I'm embarrassed for you. Like, fuck. Oh my gosh. But, you know, we all have our own demons inside of us, our own shit. And that guy doesn't think he stinks, so, you know, he hasn't seen his. But, you know, maybe this breakdown voicemail, you know, even though nobody knows who he is maybe hearing himself and the outrage in others' voices that will make him see himself more clearly. I don't know. I don't know every single person's, what's going to happen. But, so in this movie, though, it was, oh, gosh, my bunny ass. So in this movie, it was, so when they pushed back the people and they gave them these little pieces of property, you know, calls them a reservation. This is where you're allowed to be now. We've taken over. God doesn't matter about that. These are your God-given lands. Well, we've taken over. We own them now. We bought the land. Okay. And then they spread them, and they put them into corners around, you know, I think deserty, dark corners, which, you know, there's a lot of shit that goes on the reservations. Like, but I think a lot of it has to do with their ancestral lands and stuff. So, like, there was parts that they could say and claim, but I think it was parts that had a lot of spirits. Like this is when I said like these, when they're talking about Pele or whoever, their gods and stuff, these are created. I don't know if when that energy is created and worshipped and stuff like that, for it to be conscious energy, I don't know, but it's definitely energy. It's energy that has been produced. And do some of these energies go all the way back to the beginning of time, where we have these ancient spirits that are conscious beings on the planet as a part of the energy here? I don't know. You know, I think there's a lot of different things. Everything that you can think of, I think, is possible. Don't I mean, keep your mind open. Don't ever close it. Don't ever go, that doesn't make sense. Why? Why doesn't it make sense? What holds you back? So, anyways, in this movie, so this, in on the reservations, it's kind of like, and I don't know all the treaties, all the things that came up with. I'm sure it was something to fuck the people over, though. But hopefully it was the people who said, you aren't allowed on our reservations, you cops and stuff. You stay off of our land. We will police ourselves. But there's reservation police. And those are some crazy stories, too, if you want to go. And there's some reservation police that have a YouTube channel, I think, and tell about the crazy supernatural stories that happen on the reservation. Because there's always, like, I have, my grandkids, my number 2 daughter, she was the one who got pregnant in high school, and then they had 3 kids. They stayed together, even though, it was a toxic relationship, but they were young and they had their shit to figure out. And so, my hair's obviously not drying very fast. But his mother is Native. All her family is Native. His dad wasn't. And then my grandkids. Okay, so that whole family, like, I know that family well, and that there's just the craziest stories, because some of them lived on the reservation. And, like, I'm pretty sure his grandmother, she didn't want to leave the reservation or something. I can't remember. There's always all sorts of stories. But crazy shit. Like, there's so many crazy stories. There's so much supernatural, crazy shit that goes on. And it probably also has to do with the energy of some of these places. Remember, we've got portals all around us. We've got energy pockets. We've got different frequencies all around us. Like, even with that thing in Hawaii, with kind of like how they said with those QHHT things, where they said when the solar flash happens, that all these ships come in and take the people, and the people kind of go into a stupor. They don't really know where they are, and they can be put anywhere, and it's like they don't really remember where they are or their past or whatever. So it's kind of like that, like they're hovering, but it's like at a different frequency. So in our reality, they're not here, but they're right there in this other one, like in the ships or something, in this holding pattern. And there's been a lot of, like, really horrible things, like where people are, the bodies that they have found, which the numbers are way, way bigger, way, way, way bigger. And so they've found families huddled in corners. They found moms with that, like, really sad, sad stuff that they've found. And, to me, what I see is, it was very, very sudden. I remember how sudden it was. And so when it was sudden, and to see, like, all of a sudden, if I turn and I see and I hear the loud pop, and I run to my family, it's like, it's gonna make me cry. Because it's not because it's sad, it's because it's beautiful. That's what I keep crying about. It's just all yesterday and stuff. But so it's like when their energy comes together, it's like a catapult. It's like this instantaneous kind of thing of going into the love. It just bounces them right into that frequency. The only thing they have is that quick reactive time, this quick pop, this quick thing. And then, when it's a whole family that went together, that's meant to be. They all went together. So there's purpose behind all of this stuff. Nothing is by accident. This is all real stuff, real souls doing these things. So, and it's all for a purpose. And there's so many levels to the purpose. That's why everything that you see is what you see at your level. But you have to go through your level in order to move up. You don't jump. You don't try and see through somebody else's. You see through yours, because that is your development. And so, but also when you look at the island, it looks like a giant land there, and it looks like the fire hit his pineal gland and his heart space. And that's what they were talking about too, that like this is a chakra system. Like there's more to all of this stuff. And like where people are like, is this the Titans? Is this like what is going on here? Or like the giants, like when you know about the size of what the trees used to be, and you know, all of these different islands and all these different things that look like a giant was just laid down, killed, they went to sleep. And then all of that, oh my gosh, that is like the land of giants, like Gulliver's Travels, like book. These fucking old stories that they would tell us. Land of the Giants, that show when I was a kid. I knew, like that show was really important to me. Like there's certain things that I just knew, but I didn't know what the draw was. Like there's a whole bunch of different things. It's just weird as you awaken when you start putting these pieces together. But I gotta go back to this murder thing. So in the movie, so you have the reservation police, and then you have the other ones, and so and there's, I don't know, you know, if somebody's off the lands, if something happens, like there's a whole bunch of weird shit about this whole thing. And that is a part of what keeps coming out more and more. That is why we have to pay attention to this shit. So in the movie, this girl gets killed, and it's fascinating, because there's a whole thing about how cold it was, and it should have froze her lungs, and she shouldn't have been able to make it very far. But it's gonna make me cry. This gets me every fucking time. But because of that warrior spirit, because of that connection, this is what people got to see. It's that connection to the spirit, to the all spirit, to, she could go really far where it didn't seem humanly possible. But then she fell over and died, and her lungs bled. And so what was she running from, and all of this stuff. So in the movie, the whole thing, I don't remember all this stuff. The thing that impacted me so fucking hard was when I found out that they don't count them. They don't do the censor thing on them. That they just don't count them. You know how they make us fill out this thing, like how many people in your family, this censor, you know, that's one of the things why I refuse to fill them out anymore, is it's fucking bullshit. It's just fucking, it makes me sick. So they don't do that to them, because those people are expendable. Just as they can go in and fry a whole city, a whole fucking town of, you know, make sure they're home and stuff, and then fry all of these indigenous people. And we all just, you know, well, what's the hotel going to be like? Oh, that cool 15-minute city, that's going to be a nice one. I'm going to start saving up for a spot there. And these are the true connection. They aren't connected to the superficial and the artificial. They're connected to their soul, to the lands, to the Almighty, to the Great Spirit. And so they don't count them so that they can be, they can disappear easily. There's nothing to track them. They just disappear. So it's a big thing. And so young girls disappear all the time, and they're murdered, disappear, and you know, all the different shades. Once you get to a deeper shade, is been a problem for all of them. Like, you can't say, oh, well, you know, it's just the Native girls. Oh, no, it's just the Mexican girls. Oh, no, it's just the Black girl. No, it's all the shades of all the different indigenous people. And depending on the area and the tribe, you know, like down there by fucking, by Galveston and shit, like fucking dead bodies found all the time. Like, if you're in one of those areas that they just fish from your pond when they, it's disgusting. And so these people go missing all the time, and then they won't help the indigenous people at all. Won't help them find them. It's just like, you know, the same treatment as what I was seeing in these old movies from the 90s or whatever, when a darker skinned kid would get killed in the inner city, how they would treat the parents. It's disgusting. It's absolutely appalling. And I will not fucking pay anything to these people. These people don't represent me. And anyways, you may have seen the thing about where there's all these indigenous women going around with the red hand across their mouths. That is what it is about. All of the women who go missing, and they won't, there's something about a landfill, and something about that they won't even go in and look in the landfill. So they're dumping women in the landfills like they're garbage. And so there's a whole thing. But that's where you see the red hand and all that. That's where I learned about it, was in that movie, is, you know, that they don't. And when you start just putting all the pieces together, because everything is pieces for our own puzzle. Like, this is I'm sharing the pieces to my puzzle, what my experience, what I'm learning about, what I'm seeing. And so this is, you know, and I know that I have a connection. Like, I've been shown that connection. And I don't think it's by accident that it's the same patriarchal representation in this one when I was going full circle. But he didn't stay to help me from this side. He helped from the other side. But it's just, there's whole things. Like, you have to connect to your own self and start going through yourself to understand some of this stuff. Like, just listening to someone talk about it's just going to sound crazy. You got to feel it. You got to go in and feel it. Go in and feel your connections so that you understand. Then, you know, do your work towards connecting to yourself. And then that is, you know, will improve your understanding. It will, it's like plugging in all of the sources inside your mind for your processor. You know, it's accessing. And so, so yesterday I was seeing so much footage of that. Like, it was like one TikTok after another. Oh my gosh, I was just bawling my head off. Little girls with the big red hands across their mouth and stuff, and just knowing what is going on, and knowing who they steal, and knowing what they do. And it's just like, oh my God, this is so fucking much. And the beauty in these people. And the thing about languages and stuff, like, when we find out how they want to control us through their language, and how they do these weird things with the words to change them, and that, you know, that we're really setting our intentions, we're really setting spells and stuff, and the words are to keep us backwards. It's all a part of it. But when you go into the different groups in their own languages, but the way that they want to stop the people from having their own languages, and how we have even been participants in that. Like, how many videos do you think you've seen of somebody, you know, sitting on a bus, and then somebody's talking next to them with their grandma, and they're talking in Spanish or something, and it could be several languages. There's a lot of languages where there is grandparents and parents that only speak that language, and you know, people freaking out and tell them, you're going to be in our country, you better speak ours. They're stop talking in your language and stuff. That is all comes from these people. Like when you go back and you see the propaganda and shit during like this old shit, watch some fucking old movies too. It's fucking right out there, in the where they even were putting that out there, like, you know, getting rid of the kind of like there was a little catchphrase that went around, and I'm not even sure when it went around. It seems like it was very old, but it is kind of like they were targeted towards indigenous people, although even know all the darker people are also indigenous people. Like they're all indigenous people, all the people of tribes, they're the indigenous people. But they would say, this seems like it was like back in the 20s or 40s, you know, even in the 60s and 70s, like you put on movies and they say the N-word all goddamn time. And they would say something about the only good N-word was a dead one. So those kind of promoted kind of things, like those were being put out by like official people, officials. Like you can go back even on Joe shit, you know, and him hanging out with the fucking Duke or whatever the hell that person is from the goddamn, you know, the white triangle hat people. And those little catchphrases that they would put out there. And then at the same time, you know, they are saying about let's see, like put out this general energy, you know, of these people don't matter, these people, get rid of them, and they're nothing but a problem, treat them like animals, like they're not civilized and shit like that. It's because this civilized people, these aristocrat people who are not in touch with their soul, like they're just standing around watching people live, like, you know, it's creepy. It's so it's, there's something about it, like I've said the whole time, there's a reason why they were breeding color out of us, which I have seen so many fucking things now with dog breeders trying to do shit like that and causing horrible things with dogs. Horrible. Like there's fucking rescue people that are just taking these, because these people don't care. They'll just kill them. They'll just kill the little puppies. So there's people who are rescuing these anomaly dogs. It's horrible. But, you know, I mean, we got regular people doing that. So you can imagine what the mad scientists do to us. So anyways, they, so at the same time, it is always this general thing of them pushing back, you know, the tribes. They don't want them to use their language. I think they even, in Hawaii, when it's come out, they even tried to make it illegal for them to use their own language. And you gotta remember, this has been in this century. This has been in the 1900s. Like it was like, there's shit that went out in the fucking 50s. Like, this is mental. Like, this isn't shit that went on like hundreds of years ago. No, this is in our time. This is shit that we have been turned a blind eye to, while they have been genociding half the fucking, the ones that are connected to the world, the ones that are connected to the spirit, the great spirit. And so the, so yesterday when I was watching the videos, and I was just like, I kept having those come up. Then there's, I was getting all of these ones, I think they're called the Mauis, Mauis or something like that. I'm pretty sure that, what is that guy's name? He's that great big, he was like Aquaman or something. He was, I saw him on Game of Thrones, where he was the, you know, the tribal kind of king guy, you know, because I think he's that, but it's like a certain tribe, and I don't know all of the connections of all of the tribes, so I can't just say, oh, well, these ones are connected to those ones, and those ones are good. I can look at some of them and think like they're come from, like there's ones to me that have spread far that still go back to the Mongolian group, but they've spread out way far. But so to me, the tribes from Mongolia are not just like ones that are there. That DNA, that ancestral pattern has spread, and so there's tribes that were in other places that still are connected to those. So anyways, to me, those are the ones that they're like in New Zealand, I'm pretty sure, and but I think that they're a bigger, more respected tribe. Like I think New Zealand gives respect to the tribe, but I don't know. I'm not there, and I'm not in their experience, so I don't know. I could be totally wrong. There could be a huge battle between whatever the tribes and the Protestants or whatever. So the but I was seeing all these videos because one of them is the rugby. I don't know if it is going on right now. I thought it was a soccer thing, but I kept seeing these videos. So I don't know if they're just recirculated videos, but it was the people from those teams about to play the other team. And so they started doing like a war dance kind of thing, some kind of dance thing. Oh my God, it was so fucking emotional to me. I was bawling. Oh my gosh. And then there was the man one. Oh my gosh, I was bawling. Then there was more of the woman one. The woman one was so fucking cool. And I've seen, there was a funeral and they started doing those dances. There's all sorts of these ceremonies. There's ceremonies going on right now in Hawaii too. And it sounds like that the Hawaiians are coming together. Like they are not going to just give these lands to them and take whatever money that they're gonna. No, this is gonna be it sounds like they're ready for the fight. And so the but this war dance thing is so fucking cool because when the first ones I was seeing these dances, every time I've seen these dances, I always start crying. Like I feel. I can sit there and just watch powwows and watch them dancing and start crying. So there's something in my soul that is very connected to this stuff, and I don't know, but it's very emotional to me. And so but I love how when they are doing their faces, they make like these when I went to the Anthropology Museum in Vancouver. It's in Canada, in Vancouver, and it has all these tribe things, and there were so many masks, and but it is like that they would turn their faces into these masks and show this emotion and shit. It is so fucking cool. Oh my gosh. And the women too, and I love how the women. I've really got a thing about tribe people. And, the women, how they're so, to me, it's like if a group of Vikings walked into the room, and how I feel. That's how I look at these people. They are just so, they're so powerful to me. It gets me so emotional. But so, these dances that they were doing and these faces that they could make, how they would turn their faces into these like masks where you could see all that stuff in these dances. And I just think that I've said so many times, there's something about the music and the dancing that is, it's in my soul, it's inside of me. And I know the power behind it. I know the power behind the movement and all of it. And so it was so powerful to watch. And it was, and the way it just kept popping up. And I was like, what the hell is going on? How am I even, like I watched one and now I've got 10,000. I've got all these Like I was just getting every fucking video was all of these different kind of things. And what was another one? I just saw one, I think it was like a little girl dance competition, and this little girl doing her hula dancing and stuff, and it's like, man, we've got to have respect for this stuff, like these tribal, primal dancing and stuff. It is fucking, it pulls into your soul. Like, go watch those. I think it's spelled M-A-W-I or M-A-L-W-I or something. It is, there's also something called Kiwi. Like, if that's a tribe, maybe that's what these people are called by the people, you know, I don't know. But it was something, but you can look it up about this, is they have these really cool dances, and the people are really big, and they look like, Jason Samoa, that's what I was going to say. I'm pretty sure he is from that, but he could be, and the same with Rock. See, they're both like islanders from somewhere, but Rock is sold out. Like, he totally sold out. I think Jason, I don't know if he has or not, like, you know, I mean, he's done some pretty big box office movies, but, you know, those could have been his bait. You know, they may not have got what he wanted. Maybe they're still growing his clone. Maybe his takes a while because he's so big. I don't know. But anyways, those people are really, you know, big and powerful. And when they're doing those dances and those yells and stuff, like, oh my gosh, I love to watch the powwow ones too, and the drumming, and when they do the howls and stuff, it's so fucking cool. But I was like asking my guides or something, like, what is going on? What am I supposed to be getting from this? Because I was just bawling all day long and feeling so connected. And that is the whole thing. I was just feeling so connected. And then I would see these videos of the two opposing teams. And to me, it was so clear that one team holds spirit and one team, you know, holds a shiny object and calls it good. And it was, you know, and I'm so much on the other team, the superficial, shallow team. It just seems so, you know, it's so representative, those aristocrats and their fake ass wigs and their fake ass parasols, 25 dresses on, and sitting there, you know, isn't that funny? It's just like they're so fucking, they're all up their own fucking ass, but they're probably, you know, straight out of the lab. They probably were, you know, those are our ancestors. Those are where we came from. These mindless idiots. Is how they, you know, were trying to breed these white people to get them to interject and take over the world from the tribe people, the natural born people. And there's so much that has gone on, and so much just in America alone. And how much shit has been coming out with Canada. Like, you know, and who even knows all the other shit? I mean, when there's coming out in the Netherlands, like, I didn't even know that there was a fucking huge tribe there. It makes sense. But that they would be at battle with these different tribes, trying to just isolate them, push them back off their own lands, kill them. Like, all of this, like, the blatant, how this, you know, event occurred is so fucking obvious, and so they're so transparent. It's so disgusting. And you know, and it's just one thing after another. So this morning when I went on to the TikTok, it was starting out right away, seeing that stuff where I was going to be like, okay, I'm about to start crying again. And I was like, I just got to go do my video. But one of the videos I saw real quick was a sky one. And it was this morning. And so it had to be on the East Coast because it was already light. And it's just now getting light here. But so, I don't know, over by Ohio or Michigan or something. But it could have been down south somewhere. But the whole fucking sky was full of UFOs or something. Oh yeah, the footage was from someone in an airplane. So they were in an airplane getting footage outside their window, and it was just tons and tons and tons of craft, all looking the same kind of craft too. So a whole shit ton of them. And, you know, I don't know if that's our own government preparing to attack us. I don't know if that is, you know, craft coming in to protect us. You know, I think that they come in and they kind of like shield or something. Like even when that whole, you know, this direct weapon thing happened there, it is almost like the energy that comes in to protect. It's kind of like shrouds or something, but then the person, each person is only going to see what they're supposed to see. Everybody, but see, when we all come together and we talk about what we see, we get a bigger picture, because everybody is seeing different things. And so, but we want the bigger picture. So it's important for us to, you know, acknowledge one another's vision, to see what the others see. And so you know, so I don't know, but that was this morning. And so there's more things about, like, there's off the shore of Alaska, there's like 11 more ships or something that are parked out there. And so the Chinese and the Russian advancement or whatever on, you know, the attacks. But see, the whole attacks are not on us, the people. It's on the system at large, the bankers, the aristocrat people, the people who are, you know, up at the top. And, you know, like our corporate leaders, our CEOs and shit, the people who get paid a lot of money for doing a whole lot of nothing. And the people who do all the work don't get paid for doing shit. So anyways, there's more things with my hair. There's more things with the BRICS nation and this money thing, because so whatever's gone on, see, they're pushing in hard, but it is not on us. It's pushing in on the dollar. And so next week sometime, they're having a meeting about the dollar. So, and they've already said that they're not using the dollar anymore for the petrol. So that was a big slam on the dollar, because we have nothing. There's nothing that we have that gives us any substance to the dollar. And they are doing that more and more. Everything is gold standard. We've got nothing but paper. And you got leaders coming out and saying, don't take the dollar. It's not worth anything. It's not even worth paper. It has no value. But it's us. We keep it going over here. We keep running and going to work because everybody's just ignoring what's going on in the rest of the world. And so they don't know, you know. They don't care. All they care about is what's going on in Walmart and Applebee's. So all of the shit is going down with the dollar. All of this stuff and all of these leaders coming out, and the stuff they're saying is all to get people's attention, all to get people to understand it's the collapsing. It's all gonna collapse. All the money, everything. And however dramatic this has to go, like, it's all goes in together. This big clash up against the tribes, and that how really dirty that we play, and the money, the big fake whole fucking thing about the money, the leadership, our governing forces, how they put themselves in power and how they attack people, the whole thing with the media, like all of this stuff is coming out. It all goes together, and it's all, hitting into this big clash, this big giant, display. So all of this is, I mean, everything is happening. It's all going down. Everything is going. So it's hard to know like exactly what is going to be the next thing. Like you can't say if they're going to laser beam your town and you're going to have to try and evacuate in their fake evacuation, or are you going to try and are they going to and you know what's also just creepy as fuck is the Mountain Dew shit. For one thing, the Texas freeze drink of Mountain Dew, and then you've got the Maui blast, laser focus blast. You know, you've got like, and there's the Baja, like Baja, like I don't even know. Oh yeah, they're getting hit right now. Oh yeah, that's funny, yeah, because I had just seen those scans. And they were saying, well, watch out, Baja. I can't remember what the thing is. Probably a tsunami flavor because they're getting hit with the hurricane right now. And I have seen people talking about how this is very unusual and stuff. Well, of course it is. And so it's supposed to go up through Baja, up through Southern California and hit into LA, this whole big hurricane or whatever the hell is going on. So, you know, more water events. And all of this, remember, everything, all these water events that keep happening is destabilizing all of the tectonic plates. So it's all leading up to the earthquake. It's all of this, each storm leads to another worse storm. Like there was a huge earthquake that happened yesterday, a 7.5 somewhere. And then a volcano, I think in New Zealand, could be Iceland, but there's a big volcano that was going, and now it's busting through more. There is lands, I think, in Mexico where there's volcano coming up through the ground. There's all sorts of weird shit going on. And, you know, and remember, everything is just realms. It's realms. We're being lied to about all of our space. And so these sinkholes and everything. So there's going to be more and more, like with caves and everything. It's all like there's inner earth beings. There's whole society. There's whole worlds in different. It's like different realms and stuff. Just like there can be the fairies, the trolls, all of that whole like fantasy world is more like the writer, which I don't know anything about. You know, especially when these writings very first came, it was probably, you know, the first ones were ones that could see into that realm, could see the little creatures, see the little beings, and talk to them and interact with them. But you know, the changing frequency and going into denial and calling people crazy and liars and stuff like that changes it to where you don't see what you're not going to see. You're not going to see it. You have to have your mind open to see. So, and that is based on your frequency. That's why you don't want to be closing your mind. You want to be opening it more and more and more and more. Don't, anything that you hear, just constantly keep it as, well, that's possible. It doesn't mean you automatically believe it. Doesn't mean you automatically know for sure, but it's a possibility. It's a like, I'm going to keep it in my pocket and see where this goes. And to me, it just is constantly, you know, everything that I stick in my pocket is always coming out later. There's always more to the story. There's always more expansion that goes and goes and goes. And, but all of these things happening are all about us. It's all about us seeing. It's about us. These choices. We're making choices all the time. Do we pay attention? Do we not pay attention? Do we care? Do we not care? What do we care about? What don't we care about? These are us deciding, figuring ourselves out. And this is what the higher self, the soul, the part of you that's real, wants to see. It wants to experience itself. It wants to understand itself. And remember, putting this feeling suit on is like putting on a glove. It's kind of like the Invisible Man, and how you could put on that outfit So he could put on, he put on the thing around his head, and I think he even put on sunglasses and a hat and a coat, put on all of those things. But that, us putting on all of these things as the energy, as just that energy being, and putting on this bodysuit thing, is what gives us this opportunity to feel. It's like plugging in a puppet. But so many people get caught up in believing that they're the puppet, and then they want to be the best puppet out there. That's so funny too. Yeah, how they do Pinocchio's story as a representative, because you're a puppet to them until you become true to yourself. You're just their puppet. To become a real boy, to become a real person, you become true to yourself. You understand yourself. You go through the moral turpitude. You make determinations of your own truth, of where you stand. On all the scales, you are the determiner. So it is, they shouldn't be tipped by another. So anyways, that is kind of like putting on the suit gives you the opportunity to be puppeted, but it is the strength of the soul. See, there's something about this, the realization of realizing that you're more than what you have thought you were. And it was all the way back in the teachings, because I think in every life experience, in every age, in every life experience, the more that you can connect to yourself and understand things in a different perspective, the more you can change things. But I know that there's been so many different lives that we've all lived that we had no idea. We were just living that part. We were just playing that part and coming out of it with the knowledge that we gained from existing as that being, is going through their life, playing out their role. Then that has given us knowledge and expansion of our inner knowing of ourselves, of our opportunities to see ourselves. But, and another thing too that I think is very dismissed by so many people is the beauty of simplicity, this, if I can talk about it, simplicity, the simplicity of life, the simplistic part of life, the beauty of that, to not feel like you need a bunch of things. Yesterday, I know on my video, it's so wacky, it's so ridiculous how I can do a TikTok and, in 2 minutes, it's got all these fucking views, but then it just stops because it obviously didn't get enough to go forward. So it'll just stop. So, but yesterday I said, but I've had a few that kind of broke through and kept going slowly. Like, they don't give me all the notifications. It's weird. So I don't even know. I just get sick of playing their games. I get sick. I'm not even fucking looking at my goddamn following list anymore on here. As soon as a bunch of people find me and I get followers, they just right away start taking them away from me. It just is frustrating, and I don't want to be frustrated by them. So I'm just going to, not go in and look and see, like, well, that's going to make me mad. I'll be happy for a second if it went up, but still, how slow all this stuff is going, still, fuck, I don't know how long this is all going to fucking drag out. Like, I didn't think that we would be going through this summer being censored. I thought it would already, that there would already be a change. But all this is leading up to the change. All this is leading to just the open stream of information. And so once this censorship thing goes, I'll just be relieved. But I can't just keep going in and just keep playing their games and playing their games. It's frustrating as fuck. But because I said... was something, I want to say what I had said in that video. There's lots of them that I'll say something and I'll think, oh, that's important. That's an important thing to think about or see. That's a good way to look at it, because they're always giving me these, these things like where other people, they could think like, well, I just thought of that myself. I'm so smart. I thought of that. That's not how I look at things. I've been in communication with these people for way too long to be thinking that the things that pop into my mind are coming from inside of me. It's more like they trigger the things inside of you. They can trigger memories. They can trigger parts of you so you can remember things. It's not, I just think so many people just think, like, I can't imagine just sitting around thinking, like, all these things that I come up with, that I'm so superior, I just come up with all this stuff. No, it's all of this, the Great Spirit, the universal mind, that you can access, you can tap into, you can talk to all the time. And I talk to him all the goddamn time. Yesterday I was constantly like, what the hell is going on? Like, why am I seeing all this? What am I supposed to? And it all just kept being because of the connection. It's, to really realize, to see, to understand, it's like knowing what you're there for. And even if like I said, it's not like a big, powerful role, it is still so important for the vision, for, because so many things that we've just ignored and not paid attention to, and we've set it aside. And that's why they've been able to do so many crimes right under our nose. And it's shameful. It's shameful. And my views of racism have changed through this. It's not like, I don't think, that we have a lot of people who just blatantly be mean to people, but it's just ignore their plight. Just ignore what they go through. Is like, that doesn't matter. That is what has been a problem. And I could see those problems all the way back in my youth. Like, I could see that. There's so many things I could see. Like, there's so many things I've been able to see for so long. But there's nothing I could do. There's nothing, I could say things and nobody would listen. But now I have my chance, my opportunity to say things, to say what I see, and the unfair, unjust treatment, and that it's all about control, it's all about money, and that the people who are all in their ego and all have biases, and they all just, allow this shit to go down, allow things to happen, in my time here on this planet, or we have seen the corporate way that they have created our products, like what they did in labs, what things have happened to animals, what they were doing to our food. All these things, have been coming out. And is it mainstream? Because we still have a lot of people who support the corporate food industry. So a lot of people weren't paying attention. A lot of people don't feel anything towards animals. Like, fuck, I've got a relationship going with a spider out on my porch. I was very concerned for him yesterday. I told him the first day, because he's a big-ass fucking spider. And I told him the first day, because he built a big fucking web going across a walkway where it's like my porch is right here. Like, there's my porch. If I can move my... God, it's so weird when you do this stuff. It's crazy. I tattooed myself backwards in a mirror on my chest, too. It was hard. So, there's my porch. You can see, like, the top part of the rails and stuff. So, right over that, there's a little gate thing. And then my deck and stuff is right out there. But, so it built its web. Can't move my hand right. So it built his web going across the gate thing, this big ass web. And so when I saw him the first day, I said, okay, you can have today. You got a nice web going. You can have today. You can, get your food. And so all he did that day was catch some like cottony stuff. And so I gave him the next day. And I don't remember if yesterday was day 3. I think yesterday was day 3. And one of the days he caught like a bee. And I was like, oh, I mean, I don't know what battle went on here. And it's weird how flies can just go right past, all these gnats and shit just go right past these webs. The bee got caught, but it wasn't like a bump. It was one of those other kind of smaller bee. I'm not even sure all the different kinds of bees, but anyways, I was like, fuck, I don't know, maybe he got stung, maybe he got killed, but then I don't know what happened. But yesterday his web was all jacked, and so I was looking for him. I couldn't see him, and I was like, oh, maybe he did die. But now I saw him last night, and he was hanging over on this like thing, and just hanging there. And I was going up and talking to him, and then it seemed like he was like, "Whoa, I am here. Don't do that." I was like, so I keep going out there and talking to him. So I don't even know. This morning I haven't gone out and seen yet if he built another web. Did he die? You know, what's going on with them. But I just think, you know, my neighbors and stuff have got to think I'm so wacky because I'm out there talking to spiders, talking to birds, talking to squirrels, talk to Stella like she's just, you know, my grandma or something. Oh, yeah, another thing, too. Yesterday, you know, the neighbors who now have a flag up, which that just cracks me up. But yesterday I heard her out talking, and she was talking to somebody in their family, and it was, have you heard about what happened in Hawaii? So I was trying to listen to see, you know, how accurate her facts were that she was sharing, because I'm sure she got her stuff off the news. I mean, she could be on Facebook or something, I don't know. But, you know, you have to be, I think Twitter and TikTok are definitely out there. I don't know what Facebook and Instagram, how much stuff that they're really spreading, but you can see a lot of fucking truth on TikTok about it, because you got all these people doing videos about what's going on and talking about what's going on in their, you know, you see it. So, and the lies and stuff about how many are gone, but I heard her say that it's like 94 people. It's like, fuck. It's like 500 or 600 right now, and they still have like 1,400 more that are missing. So and that is probably lowballing. I mean, this is a whole fucking neighborhood. Like, not even a neighborhood. This was a whole town. A whole town. All those kids. They've only gotten through 13% of the houses. I mean, if your whole family is gone, who's reporting you missing? So, you know, 13% of the houses they've gone through. And there's a long ways to go. But they are finding more pets. So that is a good thing. And there's more things being, you know, coming to the surface, that all of the poor people's houses, you know, because they had the best land, but these people didn't have all the money. These are islanders. This is their lands, but it's the best land, so the corporations want it. And but like right on the beaches, there's these big fucking mansions, and they aren't burned at all. You know, like it burns right up to their house, and then their house is just staying there perfect, and everything else is just fucking dust. So yeah, the numbers are way, way different. And that is one thing that you hear the people talking about. You hear the people talking about what's going on there, about the, you know, the insurance companies, the developer, they're all just kind of coming in trying to undercut and get in there and take shit, putting pressure on people. At the same time, these people have lost every fucking thing, lost their family, like everything. And it's all a fucking attack. This is all a fucking attack. But this, and you know, when I compared it to Nagasaki and Hiroshima, that's what it looks like and stuff. Those were attacks. This is the same kind of attacks. I mean, this was to take this land away from these people. I don't know about all these different ones. They're always to take things and start wars and shit. But they just go in and just blow out a whole goddamn town and don't even fucking care one bit. And, you know, is that the world that we want to exist in? Sitting here like this, living like this, like, but who knows? Today could be our day. Today could be the day they come in and wipe us out. They got 1,400 motherfucking fires going. And that's not even counting all the ones across the whole goddamn globe. Like, there's so many that are going all over the place. I don't even know how many are in Washington, but over by Tacoma, so the Tacoma is in between Olympia and Seattle. Tacoma is where SeaTac is, where the airport is. And it's right on the coast. And so it's a very trafficy, high density place. It is the worst traffic I can't imagine that there's worse traffic anywhere than in the 5 going towards Seattle, like in that area. Like, I don't think you go in the middle of the night, you're going to be stuck in traffic still. It's fucked. And so when you go up a little ways, there's Lakeland, I guess. So I don't know what's going on with the fire in Tacoma, but I had said this a long while ago. I said, whatever they're going to do, they're going to create some sort of big problem in Seattle, and then they're going to start evacuating people, and they're going to cause a big chaotic mess. And then if they come out here and hit us, we've got nowhere to go. So yesterday they started evacuating Lakeland. So I don't know if the fire had spread through all the city and burned all this down, and now it was in Lakeland and they were evacuating. I don't know what the hell. But that is right where I was saying. I mean, that is exactly what I was expecting they're going to do. They're going to have, and there could still be more that's going to go on. Like, with Seattle, like this hurricane coming, we got the tectonic plates. We got so much shit that is just like I said, that Jenga game is just like, there's only a few pieces left. And it's like, something got to go. And so, this is completely exactly what I was figuring that they would do, is create a big chaos, and then they start an evacuation in a place that is a fucking mess. And then, like, I don't even know, how that evacuation went. I don't even know if it's still in the process. I don't know if they've returned home. I don't know. But when it doesn't go full into it, either it was something that got cut off by their plan, or they're practicing. So it's a practice run, it's like a dry run, or it's an intention that got interfered with. Because I think that they are doing a lot of things that are, like, the NSA or whoever, these people also know some of their stuff. I think, though, that some of the stuff is like they know their general playbook, but they don't know exactly. But the looking glass thing would show. Like, but I don't know. For sure, to me, it seems like that the Trump people are one step ahead of them. Like I said, in 2020, all of his daily update things were all exposing these people. He was constantly exposing the people who were involved. And so, this whole thing, it all goes together. And, when you really trying to understand, what you're doing here, you've got to go back to the whole thing about your soul. What would your soul be doing here? Why would you be going through this experience? Because it isn't the experience. That's the unreal part. That's not real. That is, if you're all caught up in the experience and thinking it's real. You know what, also, this was kind of weird. Like, this movie my brother had put on Plex, so I watched it last night. It was very creepy. But I kept trying to think, like, is this movie, like, kind of like Babadook? Is it trying to, like, show a different story and use this other thing? But it was called Cobwebs, and there's just a lot of weird things about it, where, to me, there's so much of the stuff that comes out. It has to do with things, with things happening. It's like the hand of God to get you to see things, or to get you to understand things, or to get you to, it's all about this seeing things more. But what was I gonna say? there was something, I don't know, it's just really hit a dead spot about what, and this morning too, when I did this, well, I did spray a little bit of that spray, and then I just rinsed it with water. I didn't do anything else, so I still got to see when it gets all the way dry, if it's going to look really oily or something, then I'll put some of the dry shampoo in up by the scalp part. But also, you got to brush, because this part gets so dry, so you got to brush all this oily stuff that comes out down. It's like your hair is constantly waxing itself or something. And it's just weird how we get in this cycle of fighting our own hair, fighting ourselves to, well, I don't want to have, my hair to be natural. I don't want it to have a natural coating. I want it to, these fake people. I don't want it to be anything natural. It's like, it's so strange. To me, the natural connection is the connection that I've always desired. It's the other connection that I think is the problem. And I think it's why people feel so bad, is because you're not really connected to anything. And, oh yeah, okay, so in the show, and this isn't the only one that's done this, because Hereditary did it, and Lock and Peel does it. No, Lock and Key and Peel. Lock and Key does it too, but shows different scenes from the dollhouse. But so in this movie, the kid is in his bedroom sometimes by himself in his bed, and the whole shot makes it like he's in a dollhouse. And then there's this other world that is outside. And so then the two worlds collide. And, however they take the story is how they take it. But I just thought it's quite interesting how they keep showing this, like in the dollhouse, because that is what it is. Like the three-dimensional world is like a perspective. It's like an opportunity to perceive, like in the dollhouse, in a structure. So you can see, so you can play with the dolls, so you can understand. But then when you go outside of the 3D, you have to leave the dollhouse. You have to leave the safe space. You have to go out into the great unknown. And the great unknown is where all things are available. Everything is out there. You go out of the dollhouse and into the yard, is the whole world's out there. There's all different levels of worlds. There's all sorts of life and beings, and everything is out there. And so it's all in, the expansion of your mind, of where you allow yourself to go. Allow, and your connection to yourself. And to me, it's important. Like, I didn't really have any choice. Like, it was part of my thing, is that connection. You need to be connected to the Great Spirit. You need to be in contact with the universal mind. You need to, but the direct line is through you. You got to go through you. You can't go through somebody else. You got to go through you. You've got to, you got to become, it's like the operator on the line. You've got to direct the messages. You've got to understand, who's talking, what they're telling you, and all of that stuff. And, there's the darkness, like so many people, they feed the darkness. They don't realize how much that they participate in the darkness, how much darkness that they've allowed into them by their own attitudes, by the way that they look at things, by the way that they look at others, that they've allowed so much darkness inside of them. And this is a sole opportunity, for you to see you, for you to see yourself, so that you can release those dark parts of yourself, to get out of ego, to get out of that, like, oh, I'm so smart, I just thought of that. To recognize your connection to the the universal mind. And you know it, and that's the gratitude. When you recognize your connection, you know, thank you for that bit of wisdom that you just shared with me. You know, there's so many things. I can be sitting there, you know, struggling on how I'm looking at something, and they'll just drop a little nugget in there. It's just like, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought of that before. And it gives you everything you need to know. You know, it's just in that. It's like going and playing handball with them or something. You know, go in there and spend some time, and you're always going to come out of it with more knowing, more knowledge, more understanding. You know, go in deeper. Is when you leave the dollhouse and you go out into the yard, you've got all of the living consciousnesses all around you. Is releasing your mind from that establishment of how you have to see things in the dollhouse, how it has to be and play out. When you leave it, then everything opens up. And then, you know, it changes the game. It changes your perspective. It changes how you see things, how you see yourself. And everything, to me, is about this expansion, about remembering who you are, remembering you're eternal. And what is an eternal being doing? What is an eternal? You're eternal. Nobody's forced you to come here. Nobody's making you do this. Nobody can make you do anything. You're doing it because you want to do it. So why are you doing it? Ask yourself the questions. If you want to know why you're here, ask yourself, what am I doing here? You know, that's how I spend my days. You know, I've spent them since I was a child. You know, what am I doing here? What am I doing here today? What's going on here today? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Where am I going? You know, talking to them. And, you know, I don't know what else to say about it. And it's like you have your own team. You have your own path. You have your own vision. You have, everything is your own as long as you keep it to you. As long as you don't try and control others or be controlled by others. You know, as long as you stay true to you in your path, in your guidance. You know, that is, to me, all it is. That's all that you're doing. Is, you know, whatever they are telling you. You know, they may tell you, you know, relax today. You need to enjoy yourself. You need to have some fun today. Don't sit here and worry about shit. They tell you to get off the internet. You've been on the internet too much today. You need to go do this. You know, do all sorts of things. And you can listen or you can not listen. You can participate or you can not participate. My stomach's growling. It's been growling since like fucking the middle of the fucking night. Where I am like, okay, I do not have this many parasites. There is no motherfucking way. Like, I take way too much shit that should be, you know, that I'm not having a 10 tons of parasites. So I don't understand all this shit about hunger and shit. Especially, like, I can feel like I'm fucking starving to death. Go in there and cook something. I start eating it, and it's like, oh my God, everything tastes disgusting. Everything tastes weird. Like, the only thing I swear to God that I can actually eat is bread and cookies. Which I gotta just keep reminding myself, okay, well, that's the depression. I'm in my depression age. You know, just give me some flour, some yeast, and some water. I'll figure it out. And that's, you know, I just gotta be like, oh, that's okay. And, you know, I know I'm not gonna get the rickets. I'm not gonna keel over unless I'm supposed to. If I'm supposed to keel over, then I'll keel over. Like yesterday, it was totally like, fuck, it was so weird. The whole weird energy in my, like, when I'm talking about weird energy, like, I don't, like, you're not going to understand at all what I'm saying unless you're going through something similar. But, like, I could be sitting here right now and feel like I'm Kelly from the comic book strip. And I'm, you know, I'm living this life and I'm this comic book. And then all of a sudden I can sit down and all of a sudden I'm somebody from a 40s old movie or something. It's like, it's fucking weird. It's like I'm going through some sort of identity crisis or something. I'm just like switching from my, but it's not roles, it's perception. It's like how I'm perceiving myself, because it doesn't feel like I'm real. Like nothing feels real. I feel like I'm like a character out of a book or something. And so then it keeps switching and keeps switching, like my size, switching like my colors, the colors around me keep switching, everything. Like I don't even fucking know. I guess this just gets weirder and weirder, but you know, I guess I'm getting further and further away from the playhouse, from the dollhouse. I'm way out there in the great unknown. I'm out there in the dark forest. I'm hoping to find some more people out here in the dark forest that are trying to figure shit out with me. But it is, you know, it's intense. This is intense times. And, you know, all souls are going through what they're going through. Some people are going through, you know, all different things. Everybody's got their own things they're going through. You know, mine is part of this, just continuing to awaken to myself, to see my truth. And it's so emotional. Oh my gosh. But it's like joy. It's like when I was crying, I was never ever sad. I was overwhelmed by emotion, just nonstop being overwhelmed by emotion, and feeling everything in such a deepness, the depth of me. I can feel everything. I can't even watch somebody fall down. Like I can feel it throughout my whole body. So it's weird, and all my interactions and stuff, and just seeing what Stella's going through, and this weird shit with the neighbors and stuff, like where Stella felt so rejected for so long by them, and how she's so drawn to keep going over there. And in this, it's like I'm starting to be like, does she hear their car coming? And then she gets me to go outside to go on a walk so she can meet him out there? Like, what in the hell? What is going on with this timing thing? I've had so much weird shit with timing lately. It's bizarro world. And so it's not just my shit being worked out here. She's going through her shit. There's so much. And it trips me out. It's just really trips me out. Like yesterday when I was like, I felt so heavy. My head was hurting. My eyes felt like they were coming out. I've been crying all day. I was just stopped up. I was, oh my gosh, it was just boiling hot, sweaty. And I'm, you know, feeling like I'm changing characters as I'm walking. And I'm, like, I can't even fucking be bothered to wash a cup. Like, fuck, that's a lot of work. Wash a spoon? Are you kidding me? I can't do that. I gotta sit down. Everything feels so heavy and trudging. And I keep thinking, okay, am I just going out of alignment with the frequency or something? Like, what is going on? Am I leaving this world? Like, what is happening here? And I keep wondering, like, with my neighbors, because they're so in the 3D. They're so in the 3D world. And, like, does it all feel just really good to them? Like, is it, like, if you're in that vibration, does it all feel really good? Like, nothing feels bad, nothing feels scary, nothing feels, God, my stomach's going crazy. Nothing feels intense or any of that. As, you know, I don't know. I don't get it. It's weird. Because you would think it would be, you know, the people who are still in the dollhouse would start to be uncomfortable as we're changing, you know, pushing them out of the dollhouse. But it's kind of like, it's kind of like this, this energy is this last hold. It's like how hard we're pushing on that door, that turning door thing, how hard we're pushing on it. And it has that, the energy of the darkness or something. I don't know. It feels so energetic and so heavy to try and go around. And then when I see people, but I do want to say this because, you know, and I'm not trying to be judgy or mean or something. It's just like something that I have noticed, an observation of how I think a lot of people do this shit. Is so, you know, they have a gate up, like I have a gate up. And, you know, that was all the way back in 2021, the whole gate thing and all the shit. But, so they have this gate up. But when they get home, they've decided to not get out and open the gate anymore. They've just decided to just ram it with their cars and their trucks and shit. So they just rammed their gate open. And I had seen it a couple of times when I had been outside, and I had just thought, oh man, they must be in a hurry. But no, that's like their new entryway, is just ram their gate. And so Stella keeps, every fucking time we go on a walk, she's got to go right up to their goddamn gate and stand there and stare at their house for 5 fucking minutes. And so I keep seeing the gate, and it's getting just massacred. Like, my gate still looks like brand new. Like, and their gate is like bent in, like it's just massacred. And I was thinking, you know, how many people do stuff like this and then think like, oh, well, you know, the gate's shitty, just throw it away, get another. It's like, you could just, you know, take a minute and take care of stuff. Like, it's a mindset. It's a way that we see. It's a way we perceive. It's a way that we see. Consumerism has got us like just garbage, throw it away, go. Who cares? It's like, we have to stop. The one thing too is constantly being showed to me. We got to slow down. We got to just fucking slow down. Slow down. Take the time to get to know yourself. Slow down. Take the time to get to know others. Just slow the fuck down. Don't be reactive. Think for yourself. You know, it's something that they're pointing out all the fucking time to me. Every time that I will do something and go too fast, it'll be like, oh, see, should have taken a second. Should have gone a little slower. Just would have taken out. And it can be the most simplest things too. Stupid things, you know. But the overall message is always slow down. And so, you know, you got to listen to your own guide. Your guides could be telling you, hurry, speed up. It's all going away. Like, I don't know. Your guides and your lessons are yours. And, but, you know, I can share what mine say. And, you know, everything right now that's going on is all opportunities for you to slow down and get to know yourself, to understand yourself on a deeper level, to see yourself through your spiritual eyes, to understand your world, your existence through your spirit, not through this, you know, not through the dollhouse, not through the character, not through the little doll that is created to play in the dollhouse. So anyways, it's all about this expansion. It's all about this growing and learning. But I think it's very important to really take notice about everything that is going on in the world on the larger scale, on the main stage. Because I think we're at this big pinnacle time of this disclosure, but this disclosure is so much deeper. It's so much bigger. Like, people think, oh, this disclosure is just going to be about like the Biden syndicate and the traffic problem and something. The stuff is so much bigger. It's so it's so huge. I mean, our world is a giant espionage lab. You know, and everything that has gone on in this corporate espionage and murdering world of takeover. It's huge. There's so much for people to see, and it's all being shown. Like, everything is being shown to us. This money thing, the governing thing, the everything. It's all right there. And so just put the pieces together for yourself. Start putting your pieces together. What is it you are supposed to be seeing? Tune in, tap into you, and figure out, what am I supposed to be getting from this? What am I supposed to be seeing from this? What am I supposed to be doing? And, you know, that's all we can do. You know, it's just keep figuring out what your experience is teaching you, what you are here to understand, what you are here to experience. So anyways, I don't know what today holds. Today's Thursday, so it holds trash day. So I would assume the trash men will come because I got my Social Security. And you know, another thing, I just want to say this too, because, you know, I didn't even realize on the timing and all of this stuff. Like, when I got my diagnosis, when they said, you know, yeah, you have a brain injury and we're going to take away your nursing license and shit. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't expect any of that, that's how it was going to go down. I knew that there was a problem, but I thought, you know, there was still a place for me in the world. And so but when all of that collapsed, and when I got told, and they said, you know, about all you're going to have is disability insurance to live off of. And I had no idea. Like, I was like, fuck, I don't even have disability insurance. Like, I had disability insurance when before, but then when I had injured my shoulder when I was snowboarding, and I broke my shoulder, and I had to get, I think, I don't remember if I have I had to be off work a lot. I had to have surgery and shit. And my disability insurance didn't do fuck all. So I was like, fuck that. Fuck them. That's some fucking bullshit. What a scam that is. So I didn't do it. And then, but this is what I'm saying. Timing, everything is the way it's supposed to be. You got to see everything is the way it's supposed to be. And so then they told me all you're going to have is disability insurance is going to be your money. Like, you even have to fight the government to get any secret or, what is that called? Social Security disability. You have to fight the government for that. And so then at my job, because luckily I worked for the state, and they had me completely covered, because I didn't have any coverage that I knew of, like, but I was covered all through them. So I had short-term disability, where I had to go through all of this shit. It was a whole long thing, and before they turn you over to long-term disability. But there's still hoops and hoops and hoops I've had to jump through. But they're the ones who got me on Social Security, because they didn't want to pay all of my whole retirement. So then they go, and then it's like they sue Social Security so that they can get some of the money from them. But like, it's all this whole fucking scheming and scam. But I was just lucky. It's not luck. It was destiny. It was supposed to be that way. But this is something that I also wanted to say, because I forgot I wanted to say this. So the house thing. So I saw a guy. He was trying to save his parents' house, I think, and start going into the laws and figuring the shit out. So if they file foreclosure, you file a trust. When you file a trust on your house, then when they file their paperwork against you not paying, because it's all this legal, because this is all about their language, remember. They don't want us to use natural, the tribes that aren't allowed to use their language, because they want us under theirs, because theirs is all a bunch of magic words. And so, but when you learn their magic words, you can use them against them. So they can come at you and say, well, you're not paying the bill. But then you can counter them and say, but you didn't give me the money. And that counter stops the whole thing. They have to just give you the deed to the house, because they didn't give you the money to pay off the loan. So it's in their own words that takes them down, which I knew that would be. I knew that, you know, and I don't know if I got that information now, because that's the next step that I'm moving into, that I'm going to have to file that. I hope that this BRICS fucking nation thing hurries and goes down, because that, you know, I want to file shit. I mean, we've already got so much coming out about the judicial, we got all of it. But anyways, anybody who is in that point of the crisis, and they file a deed, trust on your house, and so you file a trust on your house, and then you go in and countersue them, because they never gave you the money. The bank didn't give you the money to pay the loan. And so there's a whole thing. It's all about their money, how we've been released from debt. Because debt doesn't exist. Debt is something that they created for us. Like, it's all in the whole thing about the straw man and all that stuff. But so, because really, in the way that they wrote the words, they should cover all our debt. All our debt should be paid by them. That is why, which didn't work for me. Everything I tried to pay with my Social Security number came, you know, back. I think there might have been something that went through. Maybe I should try it again, but I'm pretty sure nothing went through. But that is the thing, is like when they're sending us a statement or something, we're taking it like we got to pay it, but it really is just this other thing, because they're already paid. They're paid all the time by the money that is our trust or something. It is this money, our value. Our value pays all our debts, but then they come back in and recharge us. But we don't know that all our shit is paid. So it's something about how they've written us into their corporation. But the corporation's already bankrupt. This is all shit to just expose the truth to us. But fighting them with our rights is all we got right now, is knowing our human rights, knowing our God-given rights, knowing that their hidden language, their hidden miscommunications, their hidden honey traps in their own language. We've got to find those to use them back against them. So anyways, that's, that guy's, they didn't take his parents' house. They had to give him the deed. You don't have to pay. And that's what's going to be going on all over the place. People are released from their debt. The debt was all a scam. And people are so like, well, I got to have my credit score. I got to pay the debt. It's like the debt was all a scam. It was all a scam to get you to go to work, to get you to chase fucking something. Chase the carrot. So it's all been a scam. So anyways, that's how we'll just leave it with that. And those are all things you can look up. Like, there's tons and tons of videos. This isn't just something I saw one video one day and I just believed it. No, this is like, I've been seeing this shit for years. You just put it in your pocket. Something else comes up. Put it in. You'll see. And it just gets bigger and bigger. Pretty soon you have all the pieces to the puzzle. So don't dismiss things. Pay attention. And look shit up. Look shit up. And then once you start looking it up, once you start putting your energy out, the algorithm will repay you. When you put your energy towards something, then that will come back towards you. So anyways, work on you. Spend your time, developing you. Because that is what this time is for. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.